Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Red, White, and Bills. This is Week 5 NFL Weekly Picks. It's crazy. The NFL is already a quarter of the way done. I'm with my co-host, Brett McDurphy from the Go Bills podcast. And as you guys know how we do it over here, we go as fast as possible. And, we've been getting longer and longer, even though we're trying to get faster. But that's hard for me and Brett because we like to rant. But just to
It's true.
quickly recap, I'm back in the positives. I'm 33-30, and Brett is still in the lead with a 36-29 record. And we're making it more interesting. This was I thought about it a little bit, and the upset has to be at least a 3.5 point underdog. And because sometimes teams have the same record, it's just an easier way to pick an actual upset because sometimes we're picking and we're like, well, there's not really many good games to pick for upsets.
Right.
Now this kind of keeps us to you have to pick one like that. But I also thought about something fun, and you guys let us know how you feel about it. And obviously, me and Brett will talk about it afterwards. But I thought like another do or die type pick. So you could pick two upsets, and you would get 5 points, but both of them have to hit. If you get one out of two, you get nothing. So I was thinking that in the shower today. I was like, that'd be kind of fun because then you have to get two to be 100%. You get a lot of points. But if you guys think that'd be cool, let us know, and then me and Brett will talk about it. But without further ado, I'm gonna throw it to Brett for the Bucks versus the Falcons for Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, this is one of those interesting battles because you got Bijan Robinson on one side of the ball, and then an emerging Baker Mayfield is starting to look like he could be an MVP candidate. And then two excellent defenses with what the Bucks did against last week, and then the Atlanta Falcons and what they've done over the past couple of weeks as well, adding in Jesse Bates to the mix there. And for me, I mean, I kind of go back and forth. I look at the Falcons and I'm like, I don't see them going lower than 500, but I also don't see the Bucks, how they've done so far. I didn't expect them to beat the Eagles as well. So
Right.
I'm going to actually pick the Atlanta Falcons to win this game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, I also like how week 1 Thursday night was a rivalry type game, but ever since week 1, it's all been interdivision rivals on Thursday Night Football. They probably did that on purpose, but I think it's pretty cool that way because you probably get better football. Because even if the teams are bad, you're going to get good football. This one was tough for me too, Brett, because minus week 1, the Falcons did look pretty decent all year, and then the Bucks, besides letting a stinker against the Broncos, look really good as well. And the Falcons are home, but Baker Mayfield's playing good football, so I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Then we're going across the pond for this one. The New York Jets against the undefeated Sam Darnold Minnesota Vikings. So this is an awesome situation because I think this is the first time Sam Darnold's playing the Jets again after the Jets ruined his career, and now he's got a new career emerging with 11 touchdown passes in 4 games, which is absolutely insane. I made a joke the other day. I said Josh is going to have the best season of his career, but lose MVP to Sam Darnold. Go figure, But yeah, this is actually awesome because I think because we remember last year the teams that, or in years past up until now, the team that comes back from London and plays, they always usually have a loss or they play poorly.
Right.
So this is good for us because the Jets are going to be coming back from London and we go play them. So that should be good in our favor. But the Vikings are just they look unstoppable. Obviously, they're going to lose games eventually, but the way their offense is playing, I don't think the Jets defense is going to be able to minimize them to below 20 points. And I think that Brian Flores defense is going to stymie the Jets offense because they've beaten and shut down better offenses in the league so far. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings to go 5-0.
That's going to be surprising to see the Vikings as one of the last undefeated teams. I kind of go back and forth on this game. I mean, I'm looking at it going, listen, Aaron Rodgers and the way that the offense played last week, losing by 1 point, I think they need to get a win here. And I like, a lot of people have said, and in our group chat. The Minnesota Vikings haven't been tested a lot this season, so I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm going to stick with the Minnesota Vikings to win this one, even though I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to come down to a last defensive play to end the game, but I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to come out of this one with a win.
I think they're legit though, dude. They beat the Niners and they beat the Texans, demolished the Texans. So I think if they beat the Jets here, I think that's gonna. They might be like that one year they were like 14-3, and that'd be crazy. Yeah. But we'll see. It's a lot of football left. Then you got the Browns going to the Commanders. Commanders are looking real good. They're number one in the NFC East. It's hard to tell. Is this just a bolt of luck for the young quarterback, and they're on a high right now, and they're gonna fall off a cliff soon, or is this going to be sustainable all year for them? But the Browns are just looking absolutely terrible. They're one of the teams that I thought would be a really good team. We thought the Vikings were going to be one of the worst teams, so we were excited that we got a second round pick for Diggs for them. So we're like, oh great, we're gonna get a very early second round pick. Now it's going to be one of the last second round picks, so it's going to really be pointless. At the end of the day, it's going to be a third round pick essentially if they keep winning. But the Commanders are playing really good football. They're scoring like every single drive it seems, and they're at home. So I'm going to go with the Commanders.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Commanders as well. Jaden Daniels put up a ton of points last week, taking care of the football, doing really good things against the Cardinals. I did not expect them to have that game so far out of hand. I expected the Cardinals to keep it close. I was wrong. I'm going to roll with Jaden Daniels on this one.
Yep. And then you got a nice divisional matchup. You got the Ravens, who just destroyed us, against the Bengals, who kind of escaped with a win against Carolina. Just real quick about that, a lot of people are down in the Bills now because we got smoked by a good team. But then they forgot, like, as good as the Ravens are, they did lose to the Raiders too. So just because you lose to a team that's bad or good doesn't mean that defines your season now. But they played an amazing football. They seemed like they finally understood what to do with their big fullback, their big running back, their very athletic playmaking quarterback. And it's going to be tough to stop them unless you got really good defensive tackles and that are big and really, really efficient linebackers. But I'm going to go with the Ravens. The Bengals are going to go to 1-4 and probably be done.
Yeah, I'm in agreement that the Ravens are going to win this one. I feel like week one, they lost that game that they should have won. They also have looked a lot better over the last 2 weeks, beating the Dallas Cowboys than the Buffalo Bills. 2 big wins for them, and I think they're on a hot streak. They're starting to roll with the players that they have. We haven't seen a lot out of Mark Andrews yet, but fantasy owners, don't panic on him. I think he's going to be fine. He'll get his touches this week, and he'll get a win.
All right. Absolutely. And then you got Bills heading into Houston to play the big bad Texans, and this is it's a good opportunity for Buffalo because everybody's written us off already, and people get annoyed when people talk good about Buffalo when they're doing really good. But any other team that does good, nobody cares about if you talk good about them. They just say, "Oh yeah, good point." But if anyone else brings up, "Oh, Buffalo looks really good, 3-0," they have like an 80-point differential and they're playing good football. Oh, they didn't play nobody yet. Why are you talking about Buffalo? And then they lose, and it's, oh yeah, they're the worst team ever. We overhyped them. Don't talk about them anymore. Now we get an opportunity to go on another hostile environment away and win a football game. It's going to be tough. We have a pretty long injury report this week, but injuries can't be an excuse. Everybody's got them. It's just you got to be able to step up. And I was back and forth with this one because I don't know how they're going to respond yet. This specific team hasn't been in this situation yet, where they got knocked down and they got to get back up quick and then throw the first punch and continuously punch the next game. But at the end of the day, I just feel like I trust that this team is going to make the proper adjustments, and I really don't think they're going to get beat that bad again, for the remainder of the season. So I'll go with the Bills.
Sean, this is one of those 50-50 games. It's a half-point spread. I was kind of back and forth on it, saying, Houston's going to win this one. But you know what? I'm not going to root against the Bills. Every time I say it, I root against the Bills, and then they come and surprise me. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills to beat the Houston Texans. I'm actually going to go bold and say that they win by more than 10 points.
That'll be good. It'll be a good rebound, and you'll be back to 4-1 before you go play your division rival in the Jets, and then we'll cross those bridges when we get there. This is going to be another funny one. You got the Colts at the Jags. Jags are technically the worst team in the league right now as far as record goes. Maybe not roster, but it's going to be like the second week in a row I picked the Jags. I just think it's got to break somewhere, and they're going to win a football game. So why not? They shouldn't be Houston. They played really good against Houston. A couple of things didn't go their way at the end, but I don't think the Colts are that good. So I got a feeling that this is going to be the time the Jags get a win.
Yeah, Sean, have you seen that Colts anthem that they're doing? Have you had a chance to watch that?
No.
If you have a chance to watch that,
I'll watch it.
It's pretty cool. You'll see it all over Instagram and everything. The guy that does it is pretty cool. His name is Seth. He's awesome. But no, I feel like the Jaguars are starting to come on a little bit. They understand that their season is completely over if they lose these games. I feel like Trevor Lawrence figured something out last week, and I think they're going to come out of this game with a win. So I'm taking the Jaguars as well.
Yeah, so they're literally be done if they lose this game. They have a technical chance if they win,
right,
make their wild card. But if they go 0-5, you're definitely absolutely done. So now I really trust that they can win this football game.
Yeah.
You said you took the Jags too?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my upset of the week is going to be the Carolina Panthers, 3.5-point dogs against the Chicago Bears. This is a big game for Carolina because this is the team they traded all their assets for to get Bryce Young. Bryce Young's not even playing in the football game. But they've been looking good with Andy Dalton, and they got a pretty good offensive line. The running backs are able to do well. You got Xavier Legette. Thielen's hurt. You got Deontay Johnson. And honestly, I just don't think this one was tough because the Panthers defense is so bad. Their two best players are injured and not playing the rest of the year. So I think the Panthers can score more, even though the Panthers defense sucks. I just got a feeling that they're going to win this game. And it's a good upset because they're a bad team and 3.5-point dogs. So going with the Panthers.
I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears in this one. I think that Caleb Williams has something to prove, and going up against Andy Dalton, I feel like the magic's going to eventually run out there.
It's true.
And I'm going to go with them. Listen, I'll say this on the other hand. The Chicago Bears, their offensive line is atrocious right now.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised if there's a lot of pressure from the Carolina Panthers, who don't have the best defensive line, but they can get some pressure on the quarterback.
Yep, and it's crazy. It's already bye week time. People start bye weeks in week 5, so there's going to be – because I was just counting up the games again. I was like, wow, it's only 14 games. It's kind of crazy. But this is a very interesting game here. The Finns at the Patriots. Patriots are actually favored in this game. I was under the impression that even without Tua, everyone called McDaniel a genius. And with having Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, they could move the football. They haven't been able to at all. And it's been abysmal. And even going back to last year, they've been, not scoring as often as you would think. I think their last 8 ball games are averaging 12 or 13 points a game. So very not good. The Patriots are also not good. I picked the Finns to beat the Seahawks. I thought they could have the firepower to still win. They didn't, and they did bad against Tennessee again. So they twisted my arm. I'm going to have to pick the Patriots to win this football game.
Here's the thing, Sean. When it comes to the Miami Dolphins, I think that Mike McDaniel is going to get it figured out. This is a team that had to give the most basic playbook to Tyler Huntley to be able to understand the playbook. He's going to be inside the facility every single minute of this week, getting ready for this game. And that's why I believe that with a divisional matchup with Tyreek Hill, the way that he was pissed off on the sidelines, Jalen Waddle as well, I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to come out of this game with a win. It's going to be a close one, though. But listen, like we mentioned, when it comes down to the division, that's when teams play their best. And the Miami Dolphins need a win here to stay alive in the AFC East. Give me the Miami Dolphins to win.
Yeah, it's definitely a must win. Now this game, I really wanted to pick the Cardinals because they're really good against their division, I feel like. But I've been picking the Cardinals and they've been losing. And I know the week I don't pick them, they're going to win. But 49ers at home, they're banged up. Cardinals are 1-3. Didn't look good last week. That's why I had to pick the 49ers. But the Cardinals can erupt at any point and score 30, 40 points. And I had this feeling that they're going to beat the Niners. And I'm not going to be surprised when they do it, but I'm still going to pick the Niners.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers as well. I still feel like they're one of the best teams in the NFL, even though they are sitting at 2-2. It comes down to injuries for me on them, but I still feel like they're going to come out of this game with a win by more than 10 points as well for them.
Yep. And you got another good division game, Raiders at Broncos. Now the Raiders are a very hard team to figure out because they lose to a bad team, they beat a good team. Lose to a bad team, beat a good team. And now they're 2-2. And I still don't know how to judge them yet. They're probably not gonna have Devontae Adams because they're gonna trade him. So he's gonna be on the bench if they don't get him traded yet because they don't want him to get hurt. And the Broncos won 2 games in a row. They're at home. Their defense has been insane. Offensively, they suck. But I went with the home team here, the Broncos, because I'm just so like, I gotta wait till like week 6, I think, to understand who the Raiders really are. And I want to pick them because they beat the Ravens and they play some decent football, but just barely beating the Browns and the Broncos were on a high. I had to roll with them.
I feel like the biggest thing that we learned from last week is that Bo Nix can play in the NFL. And I feel like the highest that he's gotten to is going to take him further. So I'm going to take Bo Nix to win this game. I just don't see enough out of the Las Vegas Raiders. I feel like they're a mess of an organization right now.
Absolutely. And you got the Packers at the Rams. Packers looked horrible against the Vikings in the beginning, but then Jordan Love went and threw 4 touchdowns, also 3 picks in his first game back against a very good defense. Rams are really banged up severely with a lot of their star players getting hurt. Packers, I mean, it was just tough to judge them because they look so good and so bad at the same time. But I think they'll turn it around and do a good job against the Rams and get the win.
Yeah, I feel like the Rams, they are very injured, but when I look at the roster, Sean McVay needs to figure something out. They can't start 1-4, and they need to get a win here. But on the other hand, I feel like Jordan Love is one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. He had a bad week after being out for multiple weeks, and this offense needs to get clicking early on with Tucker Kraft as well as some of the receivers that they have. I feel like this can be enough to put them over the hump and beat the Rams.
And you got the G-men going to Seattle. Giants look decent in the last couple of weeks. Still a lot of question marks. Singletary's, good game here, and then he fumbles a little bit. Neighbors drops a couple of passes that could win you a football game. He gets concussed, almost beats Dallas. It's just, is Daniel Jones really a better quarterback than he was last year? Dayball on the hot seat, fighting for his life over here. And then Seattle looked pretty good against the Lions. The score looked way worse than it was. They're a good football team, Seattle. They're 3-1, and they're at home. I think it's going to be too much for the Giants to handle against a good team like Seattle, and Seattle's going to go to 4-1.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. I feel like there's a lot of weapons on the offense with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Then you add into it DK Metcalf as well as Tyler Lockett, the old I call him kind of like Old Yeller. He's kind of that type of guy for them. But then you add into the mix. I mean, they have some decent running backs there in Seattle, and I feel like they're going to do enough to get over this game and win it. But don't be surprised. I'm telling you, the G-men, like you said, playing some good football. I honestly was thinking about taking the G-men for my upset of the week, but I'm not going to.
It's narrowed down to 2, so I think I know who you're going to take. But you got Cowboys on Sunday Night Football going into Pittsburgh. Cowboys lost Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't know their stat. They said Micah Parsons has a high ankle sprain, so I'm assuming he's not going to play. Not too sure. But they've been so. I was talking to one of my best friends. He's a Cowboys fan. He just says, "Oh, we suck. We're a horrible team." But I just don't get it because they basically have the same team as last year, and they were really good. So I don't know what's just not clicking for them, but they got a very talented football team. Pittsburgh's got a very talented defense, but I still think CeeDee Lamb's going to do a good enough job, basically on his own with Dak to beat Seattle. I don't think Justin Fields is going to. It's going to be a close game. I still got Dallas winning.
Yeah, I got Dallas winning this one as well. It comes down to, number one, expectations for the Dallas Cowboys. You know that Jerry Jones wants to win. That's the biggest goal. They need to win. They need to keep their Super Bowl hopes alive. They've been 29 years without a Super Bowl. It's time for them to get a win, and they're going to get back on track and eliminate all the doubt that they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they could be a way better team than they've been playing. So then you got Monday Night Football, Saints versus the Chiefs. I'm going to obviously pick the Chiefs. I think the Saints ended up proving what we all originally thought in the beginning after their fool's gold week 1 through 2. Now they're back down to earth, being trashed like I expected. And again, the Chiefs don't look great either, but they're winning with great coaching, making the right mistakes, making the right choices at the end. And yeah, Mahomes has turned the ball over insanely. You haven't heard much about it because Josh Allen hasn't turned the ball over. And once he starts turning the ball over, then they'll talk about it more. But Mahomes isn't getting any hate for him turning the ball over. 5 picks already in 4 games. If that was Allen, he'd be talk of the town. But they get it done with great coaching, and the players know how to win, and they always find a way. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs to go 5-0.
This is my upset of the week. I'm going to take the Saints to beat the Chiefs. I feel like the Chiefs have a lot of injuries, especially losing Rashee Rice this week. It's going to be a major blow for them. You look at all the other wide receivers that they have, there really isn't that big name receiver. They're looking into the trade market. There's guys like Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams, who I don't believe will go in the division. But you add Amari Cooper to the mix. You add in a few other wide receivers in Deontay Johnson that could be available, T. Higgins as well. They could be looking at a new receiver there. But also the Saints defense, yes, they are pretty good. But the offense can put up 44 points a game, no problem. They've had a couple of bad games, don't get me wrong, over the last couple of weeks. I feel like they straighten it out and they get a win here against the Super Bowl champions, giving them their first loss of the year. And it's about time for them to get their first loss this year. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, everything's still on the table for basically all the 1-loss teams and even the 2-loss teams in the AFC to get that number 1 seed that you don't want Kansas City to get. So you always want Kansas City to lose. And I'm the way I operate with Kansas City. If they play any AFC team, I just want them to win because I know they're going to be in the playoffs regardless. So I'd rather have those other teams lose. But when the NFC team plays them, cool, take the loss, and then we still got to play them. So if we're neck and neck and then we beat them, that's how you get it. That's how you get the advantage in the playoffs. But yeah, that'll wrap it up. I mean, another great week of football. I think this will be another good one. I don't know if it's going to be a bunch of crazy upsets like the last couple of weeks, but some good football, some good division matchups starting tomorrow. Bucks Falcons. I'm down by 3 wins. I have 1 extra loss than Brett, but you let us know in the comments if you want us to do that super upset pick of the week where you have to hit 2 upsets of 3.5-point dog or worse, and they both have to hit to get 5 points. If you get 1 out of 2, you get no points. So, well, you get the 1 point for winning, but you don't get the bonus points that you would normally get. So, for me and Brett, we appreciate you guys. Like the video, go over to Go Bills Podcast and subscribe. And, we'll see you guys next week. Go Bills.
Go Bills.